As Vegeta tries to figure out what's next for him, Goku continues training on Earth, growing as strong as he can so he can prepare for Vegeta. Where does that lead us next? We'll be covering all that and more in this third part of What If Vegeta Stayed Evil. With full control of the Frieza Force, now renamed the Vegeta Force, Vegeta continues to expand it. He basically goes into the same exact business as Frieza. Although, unlike Frieza, he's actually involved in a lot of the work. His army expands, his empire expands, and his fortunes expand. No one can stand up to him either. He's the be-all end-all to everything. But of course, that does draw attention from some other people. Years pass, and eventually, his army's attacked by someone. It's a random outpost that gets attacked, and he's not really too sure why. But there were reports of a really strong villain that showed up. Vegeta kinda scoffs at this, but he goes to check it out for himself because, of course, he wants to see if he could have a good fight. He's long since forgotten about people like Kakarot. And there have been some strong people out here, but no one really was able to stand up to him. So he seeks a good fight and decides, you know what, he'll handle this one. Even if it's not really that big of a deal, at least he gets to do something. He arrives at the outpost. It's completely leveled, and there's only one person there. He definitely looks strong, but Vegeta can't really tell how strong he truly is. But he's ready to fight this guy. The opponent he's facing is Dabura. Of course, with how notorious Vegeta is, Babidi eventually caught on to that. Instead of going to Earth, he decided he's gonna go after Vegeta to get some energy. All they needed to do was draw him out, and by using Dabura's power, he'd be able to take that for himself. But it becomes clear pretty quickly that he's not really a challenge for Dabura. They know Vegeta's immortal by now. And Dabura does try to test out his power, but Vegeta's not really strong enough to contend against him, which is fine for Vegeta. He'll just let Dabura injure him, and he'll grow strong enough to actually fight him. But Babidi tells Dabura to just bring Vegeta to him. So, he doesn't fight any longer. Simply he spits on Vegeta, which really angers Vegeta at first because it's disrespectful, but then he realized that the spit is turning him into stone. And it's already too late. Vegeta has turned into a statue, and Dabura picks him up, bringing him to Babidi. Now Babidi's not really too sure what to do about this. So, since Vegeta's immortal, technically he could just steal energy from him forever, because if he just drains all of Vegeta's energy, that kills him, and then it should regenerate. Even though Vegeta's immortal, it's not like he has infinite energy, but by constantly killing him and constantly bringing that energy back, slowly but surely it kind of does act as infinite energy. It's just that each time he regenerates, it's only going to be a fraction of his true strength, so the process will be slow. But Babidi does have a way to speed it up, not to mention the potential to have another servant. It should be pretty easy too. Vegeta's very evil. He shouldn't be too hard to take over. It'll be a win-win for Babidi. He'll have someone else under his control, and it'll mean Vegeta has further power for him to exploit. So Dabura frees him, and the second Vegeta's back, Babidi starts to control his mind. Vegeta can't actually resist this. He has so much evil within him at this point that Babidi doesn't need to try and exploit it somehow. It's just there. It's very apparent and makes him very susceptible. Of course, he tries to fight back. He doesn't give in to this willingly. But with how strong Babidi's magic is against his evil, very quickly, Vegeta becomes Majin Vegeta. Getting a nice boost in power too, but Babidi sees even more power beneath the surface, so he tries to draw that out, wondering what he can get from this because this will make the process a lot quicker. He draws out all that evil from Vegeta's heart, and instinctively, it causes a change within him. So not only does he become a Majin servant of Babidi, but he actually undergoes a transformation. It essentially unlocks that latent power. It's something Vegeta never truly had a catalyst for before, nor was it something that Vegeta was even aware of. As he succumbs to the spell, he also transforms, becoming a Super Saiyan for the very first time. Although, he doesn't even realize it. He's under Babidi's control. And this just makes him even more susceptible to Babidi's magic. As a Super Saiyan, those feelings of evil are amplified. He's easier to control, and he has more energy for Babidi to exploit. At his current level, he's still not as strong as Dabura, but this will make the energy collection process a lot quicker. So Babidi begins taking that energy. Vegeta essentially turned into a battery for Majin Buu. Babidi still does encounter some resistance though. At first, he was able to easily exploit Vegeta and did have that full control, but slowly it's going away, but that won't really be a problem too soon. And Babidi fights against it too, fortifying his control over Vegeta. And it continues like this. Vegeta's energy constantly gets drained, being fed to Buu's egg, and it doesn't really take too long for it to revive Buu in the process. With all this energy from Vegeta, Buu comes back. And Babidi doesn't really have a use for Vegeta anymore. As for Dabura, he recognizes that Buu is probably a pretty big threat. I believe that he'd still try to fight Buu like normal, and of course he'd end up losing. Although, watching this makes Babidi curious because maybe he could use Buu to get rid of Vegeta. Of course, Babidi has no use for Vegeta anymore, but he's immortal. He can't just get rid of him, and he probably won't be a reliable servant. At some point, he will break free. So Babidi begins thinking. Buu turned Dabura into a cookie, so maybe he could turn Vegeta into some type of food and just eat him. Will he regenerate from that? Well, only one way to find out. Babidi tries to command Buu to go after Vegeta, taking his focus off him for a very brief moment, just enough for Vegeta to briefly regain control. And in this short moment of control, he does really the only thing he can think of. He charges up all of his power. The technique he used before against Frieza on accident, he uses it here again. He's self-destructing. Vegeta performs a final explosion. Babidi realizes by the time it's too late, because Buu wasn't listening to him, and Vegeta had just enough time to charge up and fire it off. Everything around them is destroyed. The planet they're on completely disappears. Vegeta holds nothing back. It kind of injures Buu a bit, but doesn't really do too much to him. And of course, since Vegeta's immortal, he does regenerate from this, but he doesn't have his full energy right now. And in the process of destroying his body, he destroyed his mind too, and it regenerated. freeing himself from Babidi's grasp and also killing Babidi in the process. It's a good thing he did that because now he's free and he still does have that new form. He has a lot to process right now because he transformed, he had his mind taken over, this Majin Buu guy is here, everything. Although it does dawn upon Vegeta, whatever transformation he just achieved was something he never knew about before. This must be what a Super Saiyan is. This entire time, he thought he was a Super Saiyan. He didn't know it was an actual transformation, and of course he's been growing a lot stronger, but he never unlocked this specific secret. And it kind of ruined the experience because Babidi was the one to do it. Whatever, he'll have to focus on that later. He's gonna have to find some way to deal with Buu, because as he is now, even after self-destructing, he's not gonna be able to do a lot of damage to him. Plus, Buu actually might have a way to defeat him. He saw that other guy get turned into food. Vegeta can't die, but what happens if he gets turned into food and eaten? Especially with this monster having access to magic. He has no idea how to counter that. Of course, Buu's revival isn't going unnoticed. A few moments earlier, on King Kai's planet, King Kai was watching all of this go down with Goku. And as they're watching it all happen, two people arrive on King Kai's planet. It causes King Kai to freak out because it's Shin and Kibito, who Goku learned is above him in the hierarchy of Kais. They didn't expect this to happen so soon. It of course makes sense, they just had no way to know what was happening right now. Either way, they need help. They knew Goku would probably be their best bet because, well, he's been around Otherworld a lot. They've heard about him. And they asked to see some of Goku's power. They tell him Buu's like nothing before. So, Goku powers up, showing off his strongest form. A few years back, he unlocked Super Saiyan against the androids, and of course he kept training after that, eventually mastering the form and going beyond it. Right now his peak is Super Saiyan 2. He unlocked this through training, and so did Gohan. So he's not the only one with this form. He wanted to make sure Gohan would be strong, and of course, with him keeping up with Goku, Gohan's been growing this entire time too. Shin asks if they could bring him along, and Goku says yeah, he's perfectly fine with that. And thankfully Gohan actually can join at the moment. So they quickly teleport to Earth, and then teleport to one of the nearby planets, with Gohan being filled in about everything that just happened. Buu senses them arrive and goes down to this planet. Unfortunately for them, they can't just fight out in space, which is where Buu is right now. This is pretty much the exact moment Vegeta just gained control. So, Buu stops focusing on him, and then flies towards that planet, which causes Vegeta to follow him too, because he could feel that familiar power. There's no way. It feels like Kakarot's ki. Buu gets there first, with Goku and Gohan both in Super Saiyan 2, ready to face off against him. Shin and Kibito watch nearby, and they see as Vegeta enters the atmosphere too. Vegeta can't believe what he's witnessing. Soldiers from his army try and contact him, making sure he's fine. He says he'll tell them when to come here, but for now, he needs to be alone. There's nothing they could do here anyways. The worst part of this is the second he sees Goku and Gohan, he can see they're using the same power as him. They've become Super Saiyans already? No, that's not a Super Saiyan. Vegeta's only had this for a few moments, and he could tell that there's something different about theirs. The aura's different. There's sparks of electricity flying around it. It seems more intense than what he has. This entire time, Kakarot's had Super Saiyan, and he's not too sure yet, but he's maybe even gone beyond that. And based on his power too, Kakarot and Gohan are both stronger than him, by a noticeable margin as well. Goku looks at Vegeta and simply smirks. They'll be fighting soon enough. But they've come here to fight Majin Buu. So together, Goku and Gohan face off against him. And they're actually doing pretty well. With their combined power, it's enough to hold off Buu. But still, in order to fully kill Buu, they would need to hit him with a full power combined attack at the same time, and destroy every bit of him in that moment, which is a lot easier said than done. They would basically need him to stand completely still for this and not even try and fight back. So they definitely have the power right now to do this. And for now, they just fight him like normal. Goku has a lot of fun with this too because it's the first serious fight he's had in a while. Not since the androids has he fought someone this powerful, or rather, someone that's actually on his level, because this guy's way beyond where the androids were. And Vegeta continues watching on in disbelief, powering down as well. He's been so utterly surpassed by them. He couldn't even fight that Dabura guy. These two on the other hand probably could kill him. Based on where their power stands, Vegeta's no match for them in terms of strength. He's immortal, he's powerful, but he can't beat Goku though. They continue fighting Buu and they're losing energy, and it doesn't seem like Buu's losing any steam. This is exactly what Goku's been training for though. He got to enjoy his fight against Buu, but there is something he wants to test out here because he's not sure he'll get to try it again. Also, Gohan suggests they use it, just to be on the safe side, especially because of what Shin and Kibito were telling them about Buu. The two of them step back and tell Buu to watch closely, and he does, wondering what they're about to pull off. It's a good thing Buu's easily entertained because he watches as the two of them perform some sort of weird dance, and Vegeta watches on equally confused, as Goku and Gohan then merge together. Over this time, Goku has learned the fusion dance, and he showed it to Gohan too. They were expecting to use this against Vegeta, but looks like this is the first time they're using it in a fight. And a new fighter emerges, named Kuhan, the fusion dance version of Goku and Gohan. He goes full power and pretty quickly ends up finishing the fight. Although the new fusion does enjoy his fight a little bit, but Buu stands no chance now that they're fused. And just like that, Majin Buu's defeated. But Vegeta's of course still there. He watched the entire thing, and he's feeling so many negative emotions right now. Confusion, anger, both at himself and at the others, shame, so many different things at once. Not to mention everything that happened before they even came here. He just got embarrassed by not just Babidi and Dabura, but also Kakarot and his son. He underestimated them. To think, over this time, they got that far ahead, and he didn't even realize it. he didn't stand a chance. Nothing ever pushed him to become a Super Saiyan. In fact, he thought he was a Super Saiyan this whole time. But not until a few moments ago did he actually truly become a Super Saiyan. These two, on the other hand, they were leaps and bounds ahead of him, and Vegeta was none the wiser. He simply glares at the fusion, and then flies off into space. He doesn't even try and fight or converse, because he knows he's not going to be able to do anything. And it's probably a better choice for him too, because they might even have some sort of way around his immortality. Kakarot didn't even seem fazed by Vegeta, and based on that weird fusion thing they did, surely Kakarot's picked up on some strange new techniques that he's not privy to. And Gohan watches on as Vegeta flies off, because he can't really fly off into space like that. But he doesn't want to chase him. The fusion can tell just by Vegeta's reaction that he didn't expect any of that. He's not on the level of Goku or Gohan. They defuse too, and Shin wonders why they didn't go after him. Well, it wouldn't really be worth it. They have been preparing for him, and they could have just sealed him right there with the Mafuba, but they came to fight Majin Buu, and they got that done. There was no need to chase Vegeta and start something new. Well, aren't they worried about Vegeta? And Goku says, not entirely. It's nice to have him as motivation because this entire time, they've been training to grow stronger than him. And they're sure that after seeing this, Vegeta's going to try and go beyond them. Honestly, Goku expected him to be a lot stronger, but based on his reaction there, and how his ki felt, Vegeta's full power isn't comparable with theirs. But still, he's immortal and he can grow quickly. So they're sure he's going to figure out something soon enough. When the time comes, Goku will fight Vegeta one-on-one. But these weren't the right circumstances, and it's not like Goku to just seal him away right here. Besides, the Mafuba is just a backup plan. He still wants to find if there's any other way to beat Vegeta if possible. Well, Shin doesn't really understand it, but he kinda does get it too. Goku is a Saiyan after all, and that kinda makes sense. He really is a fascinating mortal, although Goku and Gohan are pretty content. Gohan's content because Buu was stopped, and Goku's pretty content because he had a really great fight, and they finally got to try out fusion in a real battle, which was really cool for him. But they're probably going to encounter Vegeta soon enough. With that, we leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps with the channel and shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.